Good evening na. Okay, so good day everyone. Today we will explore stakeholder engagement and participatory approaches. An essential component of modern governance, community development and organizational decision making. As a future students or administrator, managers, and leaders, you must understand that effective policies and programs do not emerge from top-down authority alone. They are strengthened with stakeholders are genuinely involved in the planning, implementation, and evaluation of initiatives. So stakeholders engagement ensures that diverse voices are heard, while participatory approaches empower citizen employees and partners to shape outcomes that directly affect them. So in our country, this becomes even more critical given the complexity of local governance, community dynamics, and cultural diversity. And to give us more details about the topic, let us all welcome our presenter. Go ahead.
Good afternoon po, classmate. Good afternoon po, Doc. So my report today is all about the stakeholder engagement and participatory approaches. So who are the stakeholders? A stakeholder is an individual or group with an interest in the success of an organization in fulfilling its mission, delivering intended results, and maintaining the viability of its products, services, and outcomes over time. So, ang mga stakeholders po, sila po yung mga importanteng tao na nagpapalakad ng isang organization or ng isang school. Sila po ay merong sila po ay kasama sa mga planning stages, sa implementations of policies. Sila po yung mga tao na nagbibigay ng interest para mag-success or para ma-fulfill yung mga mission vision ng isang paaralan. So what purpose do the stakeholders in the education serve? The first one is achieving common objective. By working with other stakeholders and sharing ideas and plans, they often achieve common educational objectives. So dito po papasok yung sa planning stages po nila. Yung mga stakeholders, nag-brainstorm sila base dun sa observation nila sa isang problema, sa isang objective, sa isang goal na dapat nilang implement. Tapos nagkakasundo po sila para sa isang objective or para magkaroon sila ng common educational objective. Next po, preparing students for society. Using instruction to prepare students for life after school helps them become productive member of society. This strengthens the community as a whole. Ibig sabihin, part din ng mga stakeholders yung pagbibigay ng tulong para sa mga estudyante, para sa mga learners, para maging productive members of society sila. Ito po yung parang nagkakaroon ng harmonious relationship yung mga stakeholders inside the school and outside the school, which is i-discuss po natin later. There are two types of stakeholder in education. So meron pong dalawa. Sila yung mga internal stakeholder at saka external stakeholder. Sino po ba ang mga internal stakeholders? Internal stakeholders is someone who works or studies in the education institution. This includes those who receive remuneration for their contribution. Internal stakeholders focus more on the organization's success because their income or education depends on it. Ang mga part po ng internal stakeholders, sila po usually yung nakikita natin sa loob ng paaralan. Sila po yung doon nagtatrabaho, doon nag-aaral, or nagbe-base po sila sa school para sa kanilang mga working hours. So sino-sino ba sila? Una po ay ang mga students. Students, they are the primary stakeholders because they are the reason for a school's existence. They rely on the system to provide them with good education and the skills to succeed in life as adults. Many educators believe that students deserve input regarding what they learn and how they are taught. So, ang mga estudyante, sila yung pinaka-importante. So, without student, walang school. They are the primary stakeholders. Sila yung dahilan kung bakit nag-e-exist yung school. Sila yung dahilan kung bakit nagkakaroon ng trabaho ang mga guro. Sila ang focus ng administration para magkaroon sila ng growth at paglabas nila ng paaralan, sila ay isang magandang halimbawa. They rely on the system to provide them with good education and the skills to succeed in life as an adult. Gaya nga po na sabi ko kanina, hinaharness natin yung mga bata para paglabas nila ng paaralan, isa silang mabuting halimbawa or kaya nilang dalhin yung sarili nila, dala yung knowledge na galing sa atin at saka yung character na na-build natin para sa kanila. Many educators believe that students deserve input regarding what they learn and how they are taught. Dito po makikita natin kung yung mga bata, kung paano natin sila naturuan, makikita natin paglabas nila ng ating paaralan or pag-alis ng ating paaralan na kung naging positive ba tayo sa kanila or nagkaroon ba tayo ng magandang turo or meron ba silang natutunan sa ating paaralan bilang isang bata pag-alis po nila ng ating paaralan. So next are the parents. Parents are key stakeholders primarily because they pay for their children's education. Parents are responsible for ensuring their children attend classes and comply with the school's policies. Parents expect the school to keep their children safe and reinforce the values taught at home. Ayan, parang dito po meron nagkaroon ng issue yung kay Teacher Carla na ang values ay dapat natututunan talaga ng bata sa bahay, hindi po sa school. So dapat pagpasok pa lang ng bata sa paaralan, meron na siyang value na tayo mga guro ay i-reinforce lang natin, papalaguin lang natin yung value na meron sila. So parents are responsible for ensuring their children attend classes. Meron kasing mga pagkakataon, lalo na yung mga kabataan po ngayon, iba na sila. Minsan yung mga parents pa yung takot sa mga bata. Gaya nga po sa mga PTA, sinasabi ko po na dapat ang parent at ang teacher, tulungan po sila sa mga sa pag-ensure na ang bata ay pumapasok sa paaralan. Kasi ngayon, parang pag ayaw ng bata, wala nang magagawa si parent. Pero dapat po, para magkaroon ng magandang character, magkaroon ng magandang katayuan yung isang bata, tulungan po si teacher at saka si parent. Kaya dito naman po sa part na to, kaya nagiging stakeholder si parent kasi meron siyang direct impact sa mga bata. Paano po ba nag-uusap si teacher at saka si parent? Sa mga school, nagkakaroon po ng parent-teacher conference. At the end of the quarter, nag-uusap si parent at saka si teacher sa behavior ni anak, sa achievement ni anak, sa problemang na-experience ni anak sa school, kung ano yung naganap sa buong quarter, pinag-uusapan yun ni teacher at saka ni parent. Next po, isang internal stakeholder ay si teachers. Tayo po yun. So, directly responsible for students' education. Ayan. Tayo po yung e-enhance ng knowledge. Tayo po ang nagre-reinforce ng values. Tayo po ang responsible sa kabuuang growth ni estudyante, ni learner sa loob ng paaralan. So si teacher din ang nagpe-prepare ng lesson according to the curriculum and get students ready to progress to the next year. Ito po, dito natin piniprepare yung mga lessons natin, yung mga aralin na ituturo at ang curriculum ay ang ating nagiging guide. Para ito yung assurance, ina-assure natin na may matututunan sa atin si learner or si student para prepare na siya para sa mga susunod pang lesson niya sa mga susunod na taon. Dito naman po, minsan nagkakaroon ng problema kasi dahil nga parang nagkakaroon ng mass promotion, parang hindi na interesado si estudyante na matuto. Kaya tayo bilang teacher, kailangan ibigay natin yung best natin para mas ma-motivate natin sila na mag-aral. Next, they help children accept and adapt to a class of students with different abilities, diverse cultures, and various backgrounds. So sa panahon po ngayon na ang education ay inclusive, lahat ay ang edukasyon ay para sa lahat. Tayong mga guro ay tumutulong para turuan yung bata kahit sa anumang abilities niya, depende sa kultura niya, depende sa individual differences ng mga bata, andito tayo para tulungan sila. So they engage with parents and other stakeholders to determine the best way to handle the needs of each child. So isa po sa mga importanteng gawain natin ay magkaroon ng relationship or harmonious relationship sa mga parents, sa iba pa pong stakeholders or sa community para mas maibus natin yung kailangan ng bata, yung problema ng bata, para masolusyonan or mas ma-enhance pa kung positive po yung ginagawa ng bata sa loob ng paaralan. Next, support staff. Sino naman po yung mga support staff? They refers to a diverse group that includes cleaners, kitchen staff, transport, security, and office staff. Ano ba yung mga responsibilities nila? They ensure the premises are clean and hygienic. Dito po yung mga sa security natin, yung mga tagilinis, yung driver ng ating service sa school, yung mga gumagawa ng mga record or mga office task. Making sure student use, ito naman po yung sa canteen, providing safe transportation for extracurricular or off-campus activities. Tayo po sa mga school, minsan may mga service tayo kapag halimbawa nagkakaroon ng activity ang school, yung mga extracurricular activities. Ginagamit po natin yung mga school services kung lilipat ng province, kung lilipat ng lugar yung mga bata para ma-ensure na safe po sila. Doon naman pumapasok yung mga transport security po natin sa loob ng school. They ensure that building is secure at all times. Lalo na po sa panahon ngayon na laganap po ang krimen sa loob ng, mostly minsan sa loob ng paaralan, gaya po nung naging issue sa may Santa Rosa, responsibility po ng ating mga support staff na i-ensure na ang mga buildings natin, yung mga gates, yung mga rooms, they are secure or they are safe for the students at all times. Next po, the school administrators typically include school principals, assistant principals, and other senior staff members. Their primary responsibilities are ensuring that the school runs efficiently and effectively. Ang mga school administrators, sila po ay may malaking responsibility naman po sa pamamalakad po sa loob ng paaralan. They are in charge of the planning, the implementation of policies, yung mga galing sa division ng mga memorandum, sila po yung di-disseminate sa mga teachers para po mas mabilis yung pag-flow ng information or yung mga kailangan or dapat gawin. They ensure that the schools runs efficiently and effectively. They also collaborate with the other stakeholders to help them make strategic decisions and implement improvements. Dito naman po, nagkakaroon sila ng collaboration sa mga iba pang stakeholders para mas ma-improve pa, para mas makagawa pa ng mga plans, ng mga decisions na magbibigay ng mga positive output para sa buong paaralan, hindi lang po para sa mga bata. Next, the school board. The school board are typically made up of community members, elected by the local community. Their primary function is to oversee the school facilities in their local area and ensure that schools provide a quality education that meet educational standard. Ang mga school board naman po, sila yung monitor. Sila po yung nagmo-monitor o nag-o-observe kung ang isang paaralan ba ay nami-meet niya yung dapat na standards para sa paaralan na yon. So board members are responsible for ensuring that their schools help students succeed. So ang pinaka-main goal po talaga natin is to makakreate tayo ng mga successful students. So ito po ay isa sa mga task ng school board. They have the authority to request that administrators develop and implement program to meet educational goals. Next naman po, pagkatapos ng mga internal stakeholders, next po ay ang mga external stakeholders. External stakeholders are defined as individuals or groups who do not participate in the school system daily. Sila yung mga stakeholders na hindi natin araw-araw nakikita sa loob ng paaralan. Pero meron silang influence sa loob ng paaralan. They are not employees of the institution and do not gain any financial profit from it. So sila yung nagbibigay sila ng influence, no, kailangan kakaroon or nagbi-build ng relationship, pero hindi naman sila yung tipo na kikita sa paaralan. They have a personal interest in the institution, success or failure, as the outcome could impact them. Yung mga halimbawa po nito, yung government, yung mga community, local businesses, and taxpayers. What is the role of local businesses? So the business community's interest in education is centered on ensuring that students graduate with the knowledge and skills required to enter the workforce. Ito po yung parang nagkakaroon ng tandem, yung mga businesses at saka yung education, para after halimbawa mag-graduate ng isang learner, madali para sa kanya na makahanap ng trabaho na mag-fit dun sa skills or dun sa knowledge na natapos po niya. So providing various resources to schools such as financial aid, books, and other supplies. Offering internship and training opportunities to students and graduate. Ito po yung mga local businesses na halimbawa, pasok tayo doon sa higher education, pagkatapos na mag-graduate ni students, bibigyan siya ng opportunity para pumili ng mga businesses na mag-fit doon sa skills or doon sa course na kinuha niya. Ito po yung parang nagkakaroon ng connection si local businesses at saka si schools. Say for example, yung mga natapos ng mga HRM, sila ay mag-internship sa mga local businesses. So nagkakaroon ng connection si local businesses sa school. Next, government and local authorities. Government officials and local authorities play a critical role in setting the protocols and objectives of the education system. Their responsibilities and interests include different ministers regulating educational strategies, including those related in health and nutrition, ensuring that the future workforce learns essential knowledge and skills, making sure students are ready to become productive members of their communities. Ito yung mga programs ng ating government na nag-ensure na ang mga bata ay ready paglabas nila ng paaralan. They implement knowledge and skills para mas maging productive para sa kanilang community. Next, education policy makers. So, education policy makers are part of external stakeholders as they determine the law and regulations governing school and other educational institutions. They also allocate funds to enable schools to remain effective in preparing students for life after school. Policymakers often collaborate with other stakeholders to ensure that schools accommodate the requirements of students, their parents, local businesses, and the community. So yung mga policy makers po natin, sila yung gumagawa ng mga rules and regulations na ini-implement sa loob ng paaralan. Para ito po yung mga policies na sinusunod ng mga bata, ng mga magulang, or yung iba pang mga stakeholders sa loob ng paaralan, or yung mga internal stakeholders, and also the other external. Next is the community. Local communities are stakeholders because they are the ones who benefit from an educational community. Well-educated students are likely to become civic-minded, self-confident leaders. They may participate in community programs and local campaign. So sa community naman po, sila usually yung nagbe-benefit. Halimbawa tayo yung part ng internal stakeholders kung saan binuboost natin yung kakayahan ng mga bata para paglabas nila ay magiging magandang halimbawa sila sa kanilang komunidad. Next po, important of stakeholder engagement in education. It ensures that the needs of all stakeholders are met, promoting a productive learning environment. Next is engaging stakeholders foster a collaborative role in creating and nurturing a high-quality learning environment, which is essential for students' well-being. Effective decision-making in education is vital for achieving educational goals and ensuring that all stakeholders' interests are considered. And stakeholder engagement is fundamental for creating a supportive and effective educational system. So, mga stakeholder natin o mga engagement ng mga stakeholders sa education ay napaka-importante po talaga. Kasi it will create a high-quality learning environment kapag and we can produce the best of the learners. Next topic po is about participatory approach. Ano nga ba yung participatory approach? Ang participatory approach is based on solving the learner's problem in real life. Using the target language as a tool, learners bring their outside problems into class. Participatory approach are geared toward planning and conducting the research process with those people whose life, word, and meaningful actions are under study. So, ang participatory approach, dito po, nagpo-focus yung mga real-life problem ng mga bata kung saan tinutulungan natin sila how to solve them para mas maging strong yung mga estudyante natin and mas prepare pa sila sa mga susunod pang hamon sa buhay nila, students, and even outside the school. Characteristic of participatory approach. The first one is passive participation, participation in information giving, participation by consultation, functional participation, interactive participation, and self-mobilization. So yun po yung mga characteristics ng ating participatory approach. Ano ba yung purpose ng participatory approach? It is to help the students to understand the social, historical, cultural forces that affect their lives, and then to help empower students to take action and make decisions in order to gain control over their lives. Advantages ng participatory approach. So participation carries with a feeling of ownership and build a strong base of the intervention in the community. It can bring together and establish ties among community members who might normally have no contact. A participatory planning process builds trust. A participatory planning process generally reflects the mission and goals of grassroots and community-based organizations. So, importante po ang participatory approach kasi nabibigyan ng importance yung feelings ng isang bata or ng isang tao para mas maging malakas siya, mas maging strong siya. Depende sa kung ano yung mga possible na solution na ibibigay sa kanya ng community or ng mga ibang involved doon din po sa participatory approach. Ano naman yung disadvantages ng participatory approach? A participatory process takes longer. A participatory process takes longer. Members of the target populations in the community may not agree with the experts about what is needed. It may be difficult to assure that all the right people get to the table. A participatory planning process takes patience and commitment on everyone's parts. Pagdating naman po dito, marami yung dapat i-consider. Lalong-lalo na kapag kinonsider mo yung mga tao sa paligid mo na merong iba't ibang mindset, merong iba't ibang pinaglalaban. Kaya marami yung kino-consider mo, marami yung binibigyan mo ng pansin. So, nagtatagal siya. It takes longer. Tapos, hindi rin nagkakaroon din ng difficulty sa pag-assure na makukuha mo yung mga tamang tao, yung mga tamang decision. Yun naman po yung nagiging disadvantages ng participatory approach.